Hi, people. This is DJ.
This is Ish.
And this is
Season
season 3
3
of Pero Let Me Tell You. How did I not get that? Like,
Story of my life.
yeah, okay. So Tristan's really into Peppa Pig.
Okay.
You like Peppa Pig, right?
I mean, I love how they fall down and start laughing.
Peppa Pig is freaking hilarious, and she's British, and like it like the humor is so
It's very British.
It's so British. It's freaking on point. So Peppa Pig loves muddy puddles, and
That
Tristan's
sounds
always,
like a blues singer.
Tristan's always saying like, "Oh, let's find a muddy puddle," because she's always talking about muddy puddles.
Okay,
And-
but well, she's a cochina, so she's a
well,
pig. Right,
actually,
right. That
that's
makes-
where I
right.
was going.
Right.
I'm like, what's Peppa Pig? What's up with Peppa Pig and the muddy puddles? And I'm like, she's a pig.
She's a pig. Yes.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we're starting episode 97 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
97.
Peppa Pig loves muddy puddles
She does.
because she's a pig.
Well, yes.
But the thing about Peppa Pig is that
You don't think of her as a pig.
right.
You think of her as like a little girl.
I love the names. There's Zoe Zebra.
Aw.
Not zebra.
Zebra. Well, yes, zebra.
There's Jerry Giraffe.
Aw.
There's Danny Dog.
I like that they're all alliterative.
Sophie Sheep.
Oh.
Okay, do you know the thing about the rabbit?
What rabbit?
Okay, so we're talking about Peppa Pig here, and listeners, before we start our regular programming, those of you who have kids, and if your kid watches Peppa Pig, just take a look at it. So, the rabbit, Rebecca Rabbit,
Okay,
that's the little girl.
Or Becky Bunny, I'm assuming.
Rebecca Rabbit. I like that, Becky Bunny. Rebecca Rabbit's aunt, Mrs. Rabbit. It's really funny because she has all the jobs in the Peppa Pig world. So, like, if they're going on a train, she's a train conductor. If they're going on a tour, she's a tour guide. If the car needs to be fixed, she's a mechanic.
Does she have an office in a WeWork?
And it's so funny because there's an episode where they ended up in Paris. And they're in the Eiffel Tower, and there she comes. She's like, "I'm the tour guide of the Eiffel Tower."
Of course you are, Rebecca.
Rebecca, it's Peppa Pig. I'm telling you, Peppa Pig is one of those cartoons. It's kind of like Phineas and Ferb. That obviously it's for kids,
Right.
but the people writing it know there's adults watching. So there's like stuff for
Right,
adults
they
in there.
pepper it in.
Because
Yes.
it's actually a riot. I watched when Tristan's watching it. I'm like,
You're enjoying it.
this is freaking, and it's smart too. It's pretty intelligent. So anyway. Well, everybody,
Episode 97.
episode 97, Pero Friday. We're starting off with Peppa Pig and Muddy Puddles.
Peppa Pig and Muddy Puddles.
the UK. So how is everybody doing?
Oh my goodness. Well, happy St. Valentine's Day, everyone. Today is St. Valentine's Day, this Pero Friday.
Oh, yes, el Día del Amor, the
El
commercial
día
day of love.
De los Valentín, de los enamorados.
So let me tell you something about that. I'm one of these people. I mean, look, Valentine's Day, I think it's as big or small as you want it. You know,
Like
if
any
you want
holiday.
to, if you want to like tirar la casa por la ventana, that is a great saying for a T-shirt. Tirar la casa por la ventana.
We'll
Throw
get
the
on it. We'll
what
get
is
on
it?
it. Throw the house through the window.
Si tú quieres tirar la casa por la ventana for Valentine's Day,
Go for
do it. If you want to have something, you know, really small with
Right.
your, you know, significant other, do it. I have a little bit of a problem, and I'm sorry, listeners out there, if this defines you. For the people that it's like, oh, it's a commercial holiday. It's a commercial holiday. It is a commercial holiday.
But no more so than any other holiday. Halloween
So is Christmas.
And Christmas.
Right.
And, yeah.
And what I find funny is that generally these people who say it's a commercial holiday, it's not like they're showering their significant other with, you know, mementos of love all
All year long.
right? It's not like, hey, honey, you know what? I'm always buying you flowers. I'm always, you know,
Right, I don't need
being
today.
thoughtful.
Right.
I don't need today. Right. No. Son tremendos descarados that don't want to go up, you know, and do what they have to do on Valentine's Day, you know, to make their significant
They don't want to
other
wait an
happy.
hour in line. But
So happy Valentine's Day,
Valentine's
everybody.
Day, everyone. Yes. So before we start with our show, I'm gonna do a little housekeeping on our end. There's a couple things I want to mention and bring up.
The Heifer Corporation.
The Heifer Corporation, always first and foremost. We go from Peppa Pig to Heifer. It's a natural progression.
Of course.
No, with so last week we went to the to the press conference for the kickoff for Carnaval Miami,
Oh, yes.
which, as you guys know, is, for those of you in South Florida, specifically Miami, it's huge, from Carnaval on the Mile, Calle Ocho. I mean, there was Miss Carnaval contest. It is like a big deal here in South Florida. And this year, we get to be a part of it, because we will be having a booth, and we'll elaborate a little bit more on that. I'm actually having a conversation, having a call about that tomorrow, or today, as it were. We're going to have a space in Carnaval on the Mile. So if you are in Miami and you go to Carnaval on the Mile,
This would be the one in Coral Gables, people.
yes, on the Miracle Mile, yes, Carnaval on the Mile, you can swing by, see us. We're going to be there. We're going to be chatting with people. We're going to be recording, doing little snippets, selling T-shirts. So, and if you had not planned to go to Carnaval on the
people,
Mile,
if you want to hug.
we'll take pictures. We'll sign babies' foreheads. Whatever you want. We're good. But if you're not planning on going, then now plan on going, because we're going to be there, and you want to see us and you want to hang out with us. So it's a great event. The Kiwanis.
You want to sit at our table.
You do. You do. And it's not Wednesday, so you don't even have to wear pink. It's on a Saturday and a Sunday. So we're really looking forward to that. Actually got to meet at the press conference, got to meet Andy Garcia. He was there because the artist of this year's poster is his nephew. Mm-hmm. But what I thought was
I really like the poster.
It's really pretty. We're actually going to have the artist on the show in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But what I love about it,
it's very clever.
It's clever, but it's not blatantly for a carnival.
Yes.
Well, I got you a poster, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. But it was really cool. Like I said, Andy Garcia, I mean, he's a huge movie megastar, but his nephew is the artist, and he was just kind of like letting his nephew take the spotlight. He didn't. I mean, he took pictures with people and whatever, but I just shook his hand, which means that now I'm one degree closer to Cher.
I like that, Cher. And for those of you, I mean, we've been going to Carnaval on the Mile for a few years now.
Yeah.
And for those of you who haven't been, I mean, obviously, if you're not into crowds, this is not the place
No,
for you. But Carnaval on the Mile, and it's obviously a
feels
Miracle
more
Mile,
spacious.
Coral Gables. It's actually really nice, because it's not always that like the community per se comes out in such a leisurely way, and I think it's a lot more laid back than Calle Ocho. It's
Absolutely.
a different demographic.
Absolutely. There's concert stages as well. There's Cork and Fork.
And what you said, it's also, yes, there's a lot of people, but I feel it's not as like claustrophobic as like,
because it's across a Miracle Mile, and like it's across like two streets, whereas Calle Ocho is just Calle Ocho.
Yeah.
And so it's one way and one way.
Because when we went to Calle Ocho last year, I hadn't been in a while, and I was like, oh my God,
a lot of
there's
people.
I think like a third of the world's population is
here on la Calle Ocho, between la 20 y la 16.
Yeah. And it was like really hot that day, and
So
I feel
humid.
Carnival on the Mile, it's a little bit, I don't know, it's like just
Actually, Carnaval on the Mile last year was breezy.
yeah, it's a completely different experience. I mean, each experience has its own thing, but for those of you who haven't been, we highly recommend it. And there's a lot of food, obviously there, but it's also in the Gables, so you have a million other food options.
Exactly.
If you don't like that, and it's just a really nice time to spend. The Gables.
Yeah, and so on that note of coming out and seeing us, this upcoming Wednesday, February 19th, we are going to be doing a live recording at Dos Croquetas here in South Florida, in Miami.
Yeah.
It's on La 40 in the heart of Westchester.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys are in town, I think we're going to start at about 7:30, give or
Something
take,
like that.
more or less. We'll be posting about it as well. But guys, come out. They are delicious. I mean, if you haven't been there,
Well, there's a reason why they want Croqueta Palooza.
This is true. They want Croqueta Palooza, but the shakes are phenomenal too.
Yes.
Their colada shake, oh my God, it's so flipping good.
Their sandwiches.
The sandwiches are good. The areparada
Yeah.
is so damn good. So yeah, I'm just make sure to come out. Hang with us for.
What
a
I
little
really
bit.
like about about the Croqueta, aside from the fact that their product is really good, but they are the epitome, which we talk about here a lot.
Yeah.
That they've been very successful, but they're just really nice people.
True.
And they actually, it was them who invited us to come to their establishment, and that's what we love, people that are successful and have made it big, but at the same time don't forget the community, and don't forget where they came from, and they're really, really cool people. So we're so happy for their success. Yes, their product kicks ass.
I mean, if not, they wouldn't have won, like you said.
But there's a lot of people's products who kick ass that are quite the divas.
True. Okay, so their product is great, and they're really nice people. So yes, absolutely.
Anyway, let's get this party.
So let's get this party started.
¿Qué me dice?
Well, the Oscars were this past weekend.
Oh my God, it took us so long to get here. Like, I feel
know,
there
I
were so
feel
many like
This year's
announcements.
Oscars, this year's Oscars, I think took longer than the last presidential election. It was like going on for like 8 years. There weren't really many surprises, so I mean, we're gonna kind of acknowledge it, but not really dwell on it unless you want to. I mean, I don't really have anything. I felt it was very by the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, hi, we're the Oscars. Here's the awards everybody you thought were gonna win the awards. And so be it. But in recent days, there is someone else who has won an award that I think we have to talk about a little bit.
King.
We have to, I think, talk about the fact that Rush Limbaugh has been given the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Well, hello. Didn't you see my personal Instagram?
I did. But so I'm gonna start.
So
it
are we
off.
going there?
We are gonna go there. I'm
going there?
actually gonna start it off. This is a bit lengthy, but it's a friend of mine posted this on Instagram, and it's from, I believe, a radio DJ, but it was written out, and so I feel like it encompasses a great starting point. I'm gonna skip. So, what is the Presidential Medal of Freedom? From Wikipedia. Awarded for an especially meritorious contribution to the security or national interest of the United States, world peace, cultural, or other significant public or private endeavors. So, Rush Limbaugh? No living person who's ever heard his show denies what Rush does for a living. He's a conservative radio talker, a right-wing propagandist. And what's his theme? That the Democrats and liberals are evil, and the Republican Party and conservatism are the antidote to said evil. That's it. For 31 years, that's what he's been all about. Rush lies, twists, and spreads conspiracy theories, just like the rest of his ilk. But he's more effective at it, because he has the biggest soapbox in the business. Here are a few of Rush's more, quote-unquote, meritorious quotes and positions he's taken over the years. And note that I'm omitting decades of blatant misogyny and the Clinton years, when he daily accused them of everything from treason to murder. Quote, race cannot be considered an issue in the Trayvon Martin case because George Zimmerman was Hispanic. This man has been awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Keep going.
He joked about the police killing of Eric Garner and made gasping sounds on the air. I can't breathe! I can't breathe! He also said Garner wasn't choked to death. The cause of his death was from high taxes in New York State. This man has been awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He mocked the tremors Michael J. Fox suffers from due to his Parkinson's. He accused Fox of, quote-unquote, exaggerating the symptoms for sympathy. This man has been awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He said all the quote-unquote grieving we hear about the killings of Michael Brown and Eric Garner were being hyped by the black community. This man has been awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He said President Obama could stop if he wanted to, but he won't. Stop it if he wanted to, but he won't. Racism has gotten worse under Obama, and one of the reasons why is because no legitimate criticism of the president is permitted because he's African American, and it's all chalked up to racism. This man has been awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
He's also a birther.
Oh, of course he is. An African American woman.
A birther is people who thought that Obama was not born in the United States.
And guess who led that charge?
Trump.
Yeah. And here we are. An African American woman called into his show one day. He told her, and I quote, "Take that bone out of your nose and call me back." This man has been awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
He also said that most pictures of wanted
that's
criminals
where I was coming next.
Look like Jesse
Jackson. Yes, we get it. Rush has lung cancer, and you wanted to show him some love before he goes to the big humidor in the sky. If a cancer diagnosis is the point upon which Trump decided to act, then why not award John Lewis too? He's fighting pancreatic cancer, and I dare say his service to, quote-unquote, meritorious peace, cultural or other significant public or private endeavors have been off the charts for 60 years. Or was there something about Lewis that disqualifies him? Or, for that matter, how about a posthumous award for the late Elijah Cummings? It's been done dozens of times. I think we all know the answer to that question. No, last night Donald Trump instantaneously devalued the high honor and ceremony that's been a tradition since the Kennedy administration. He did it by awarding the Medal of Freedom to a hateful, vulgar racist. No president could possibly consider such an affront unless he himself shares those views. But Trump, ever the showman, knows how to offset any suggestions of bigotry. I mean, he honored in the gallery Brigadier General Charles McGee, the last survivor of the Tuskegee Airmen, Janiyah Davis, a black fourth grader, and a few other black and Hispanic citizens deserving of recognition. So Trump, who was twice sued by the government for racial discrimination in New York, and Limbaugh, with a 31-year record of racist filth over the public airways, inoculated themselves with black and brown skin last night in a historically shameful display of cronyism. Donald Trump isn't America's first racist president, nor will he be our last. But he's by far the worst. Last night was the icing on the cake for me. And this is, I believe, a radio DJ, Bruce Lindner.
I could have gone down all that.
So I wanted to start it off with that because I'm also going to start by saying that I know that this is going to sound horrible, but you know what? Sometimes cancer gets it right.
Okay, that is horrible. That is horrible. You shouldn't say that. Okay, so I made similar comments on my personal Instagram because I've been following Rush Limbaugh for quite some time. The problem with Rush Limbaugh is this is not a matter of policy or a matter of like somebody who has conservative values versus somebody who has liberal values. The problem is that this man spews things that are dangerous and that are hateful. I don't want to quote I don't want to say the exact quote, but he made a very derogatory comment one time among hundreds of thousands of comments that he made pertaining, the gay community and AIDS. Kind of like that they deserved each other. He also said something that he said, when a gay person turns his back on you, it is anything but an insult. It's an invitation.
It's cute. He thinks he's that attractive.
But like if you really stop and think about how demoralizing that is.
But what he said recently about Buttigieg, it's like, how are you going to explain to your kids that, he's kissing his husband the same way that you explain to your kids about the president grabbing pussy.
He says that like smoking and secondhand smoking is like a myth, like the dangers to the health. It's a myth.
I wonder if he says that now in spite of his lung cancer.
You could just go on and on and on. He really turns back on like feminism and
feminazis. That's his whole thing.
So my whole thing, which is the reason why I posted this on my personal Instagram, because I try to keep our podcast Instagram not that political.
Right.
Although we talk about politics,
it's one thing for us to talk about.
It's
not
a political
right.
podcast. The problem is that. Not problem, but I said that, and unlike you, I don't wish illness on anyone, even somebody that I consider like a nemesis. I don't wish illness on him, especially the illness that he has, which is stage 4 lung cancer. I mean, that's horrible. I just hope...
I'm not going to feel bad for him,
hope that, being sick, especially being sick in that way and that severity is a very humbling experience, because I think that to most people, when you're sick, you kind of realize your mortality. You realize how you're not in control of it.
Right.
So I would just hope that illness made him a little bit more humble and a little bit more understanding and a little bit more compassionate.
It won't because he has now been awarded for this bigotry, for this horribleness,
with people that have conservative thoughts.
But that's not conservative thought.
Because there's many conservative values in terms of, now we're talking about a platform that I could totally sign up for and that I agree with,
Absolutely.
right? Because nobody is one-dimensional, right? But the problem with him is that that's not what he's about. He's about insulting people. And what he doesn't understand is that he has millions and millions
does understand
of millions and millions of listeners that are using this to further fuel their prejudice against whomever, whether it's a woman, somebody who's black, somebody who's gay, somebody who's Hispanic. I mean, he has said atrocities about Hispanic people and immigrants and stuff like that. Atrocities. And this man gets the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Now we know why he did. He got it. He got it as a political...
Oh, because he's buddies.
No, not only because he's buddy, because Trump is playing to his base. This was a complete political move, 100% political move. First of all, the Presidential Medal of Freedom is not given at the State of the Union address.
There's
usually
a ceremony.
It's usually another ceremony in the White House where you see it on the news.
You shake hands
2 seconds.
And
oh, by the way, today so-and-so was awarded the medal. That's how it is. And this man, Trump, does this in the middle of the State of the Union address. Why? Because he uses that to go ahead and further fuel his base. I thought the State of the Union address was... I thought that was anything but the State of the Union address. That was like a complete political move. I
didn't see it, but I will say...
I saw every second of it.
I will say I I have issues with both sides, how they behaved in that.
You got an issue with Nancy ripping the papers?
I did.
Okay.
I did. The same way that I condemn Trump's actions, I'm gonna condemn hers. He's an idiot. He's an ass. So be it. But for her to do it in such a public way, it was a. I know I'm gonna sound like I'm being naive, but it was her saying, you know what, fuck you, which is fine and dandy. But I don't think the time to do it is in front of the country, because you can't say that you want to unify the country when you do something like that. And then, from what I understand, she was kind of walking around with the torn up pieces in the envelope, showing it to the other Democrats. So it didn't seem it didn't seem activist. It seemed petulant.
It was petty. I probably would have not chosen to go down that way, because I really believe in the whole, well, Michelle Obama say it, when they go low, we go high.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of times you have to fight a bully with a bully, right? And Trump is certainly a bully.
Fair
so
enough.
it's a very complicated, kind of dynamic, because, again, I believe more with the, when they're at their worst, you show...
Kill them with kindness.
Kill them with kindness. You show your dignity, your class. You know what I mean?
Right,
Which
right.
this man has no class.
At all.
Right? You show your class. That's how I would handle it, right? But I also kind of see that, at this point in time,
I can understand being over it. I can understand her being over it.
I'll bet her off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I thought that when he did that, I my mouth fell on the floor. I couldn't believe it. I mean, just to give our listeners...
regale us on who else has received
Just to
this,
give our listeners
honor.
a little bit of a background. Mother Teresa got the award.
Okay.
She
She probably hated Jews. Okay. Go.
The astronauts of Apollo 13 got the award.
They probably polluted in space. Okay.
Tony Blair got the award for being such a good ally of the U.S., especially during 9/11.
The British have bad food.
Sidney Poitier for his civil rights.
He didn't announce he was coming to dinner.
Yeah. So
nobody likes an uninvited guest.
So I mean, so on and so forth. So usually it's people.
Did
that
Rosa
are,
Parks get it?
I'm not sure if Rosa Parks got it. But usually
again,
it's people
these are
who've done major contributions,
who've contributed to the betterment,
to the advancement and betterment and evolution of
the culture
of
the U.S.
of the U.S. So, yeah. I mean, look.
To me, this is like that year that Milli Vanilli won Best New Artist.
I mean, look. And I don't want to be too again. Well, it's our show. I can be as political as I want. But this is a perfect example of what's going on with our country right now. My mom comes to me this week. She's like, fucking Obama. And I'm like, what did Obama do now? Obama hasn't been president in 3 years. What did Obama do now? What did he do? Tell me, mother. What did he do? Since we're still blaming Obama.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, can you believe that Obama endorsed Michael Bloomberg and he didn't endorse Joe Biden? Joe Biden, who was his vice president and who's supposedly his friend. What an asshole. Right. And I'm like, Obama hasn't endorsed anyone.
He hasn't. No.
And I'm like, she's like, yes, he has. And I'm like,
the Bloomberg commercial?
No, I'm like, no, he hasn't. And we were going, yes, he has. No, he hasn't for minutes. And I'm like, this is arguing with a child. And I'm like, okay, why are you saying this? Oh, because everybody's talking about it. Again, that group of people that my parents are always saying, no, porque todo el mundo está hablando de eso. I'm like, who is this group of people that are always talking about it? The Bloomberg commercial.
Okay.
So anyway, so my mom starts going about the Bloomberg commercial because there's this commercial that's running out now
everybody
every 5
has seen
minutes.
It. I mean, you have to see it.
It's clips of Obama talking about Michael Bloomberg.
When he was mayor
how
of
great Michael Bloomberg was and, to his character and how he cleaned up New York, blah, blah, blah. Now, in this commercial, Now, my mom says that in the shows that her and my dad watch, because her and my dad watch Channel 41 and Mega TV, they have all these political commentary shows that are local, that they're all hosted by Cubans, which are all conservative and they're all Republican.
Claro.
And there's like one Democrat, right? Right. So they all say this type of stuff, so then my parents hear it, and, you know, and they're like, yeah, because everybody's talking about it. The people are talking about it, right? And again, it really bothers me of my father, because my father I consider very intelligent. I'm like, Mother, if you notice, the commercial has the dates. It has the dates of when Obama said this. Like May 2008. They'll have another clip.
Right.
You know, April 2012. And she's like, oh, so it's not new? I'm like, no. I'm like, didn't you notice that Obama is like, in some videos, he's like young, and like, in other videos, he's like gray. Yeah. I'm like, did you not notice the evolution of Obama? Like... in these videos. Oh no, porque él está hablando. I'm like, that's not an endorsement. No. And it was the reason I'm giving that example is because even after I explained that to her, she still believes that Obama endorsed
it doesn't matter.
Bloomberg. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't matter what the truth is.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what the truth is.
You can put all the disclaimers, all the notices, all of everything. What you want to believe, you're going to believe.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And I even told her, I'm like, Mom, generally, somebody like an ex-president or a former president will not endorse a candidate that hasn't gotten a nomination yet. That's too early of an endorsement.
True.
Right? Whether they're your vice president or not. Like, he has not given an endorsement. Right. And she still believes that they have. And I'm like, never mind.
We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is DJ from Pero Let Me Tell You, and if you've been following us since the first season, you probably remember that once upon a time I had really long hair, and I've made no secret that I'm really picky about my hair and who cuts my hair and so on and so forth. So that's why I'm really excited to tell you guys today about Mankind Grooming. Mankind is just not any barbershop. It really is an experience. Aside from getting a great haircut and a beard trim, Mankind also has a full spa for men. You can have a manicure, a pedicure, a massage, a facial, and a bunch of other services that they offer at their spa. And even better is that they have a bar and a pool table. So you could have a drink, you could shoot some pool while you get a massage and you cut your hair. Maybe not all at the same time, but it certainly is an experience, and there are not a lot of places in Miami that offer this experience. So I really recommend you guys check this out. Plus, all first-time clients can get 25% off any service. That's right, 25% off. So if you're looking for a unique grooming or spa experience, you definitely need to check out Mankind Grooming Services. Visit mankindformen.com today for more information, and tell them Pero Let Me Tell You sent you. Pero Let Me Tell You. And we're back. I actually do need a haircut.
Well, then you should go, because I went last week.
Por eso estás tan lindo.
I got to get cute for Valentine's Day. I went to Mankind. I actually had a manicure también. Look, by now my nails are not looking cute. It's been a week, and it was a great experience, but I'm not a manicure person.
This is totally off topic, or it is totally topic.
We're about to find out.
Did you know? Maybe you knew, and it's like, duh, everybody knows. Do you know that the Cosmopolitan was allegedly invented in Miami?
The drink?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Yeah, it was. So there's a lot of different places that say they created it, and each version is a little bit different.
For some reason, I think New York, but that's just
there's the New York. There's P-Town,
really?
Provincetown. Yeah, Provincetown has like a really big claim to it. There's, I think, there's certain areas that claim they were, but Miami is one of them. But apparently, what sets Miami apart is that allegedly the Miami version of the Cosmopolitan is the one that made it onto Sex and the City.
So the one in Miami is made it onto the show about New York.
Yeah, because the thing is that the ones in like, I actually looked this up.
Okay,
the ones in like P-Town and like New York and I think California. Okay. I don't know if it was LA or San Francisco, were popular in different times.
Oh, okay.
Whereas the one in Miami was a more recent one in like
it's the one that caught fire.
Yes.
Okay.
So the one in Miami apparently was like in the 80s, which Marimbero days, it makes total sense.
Total sense. This rings. You need something to bring you down from your coke high.
Right. So I don't know if it was because it was the most recent or whatever, that version is the version that made it onto Sex and the City. And as we know, Sex and the City is what
is stratosphere. I mean,
right. What made the Cosmo the
actually,
Cosmo?
Speaking of Miami, did you hear that the Miami Herald is going bankrupt?
No.
They're going bankrupt. They are. I mean, it's not bankrupt. It's like reorganization because the company
Chapter
that owns
11.
them. Yeah, thank you. I never remember if Chapter 11 or Chapter 7 because
No. Chapter 7's a total liquidation.
right. Because but I always think like 7 comes before 11, so it can't be worse. Like you haven't gotten to 11
That's
yet.
not the reason why it is what it is, but yes, go ahead.
Okay, but yeah. So I think it's a McClatchy.
Actually, no. 7 is the worst because 7
It
is
is
total
the-
liquidation.
No, it is the worst. But in my mind, that's why I can never remember which one is the worst because I'm like, well, 7 comes before 11, so you have to go through 7
Well,
to
but
get
7
to
is
11.
also personal.
A company can't do Chapter 7?
No.
Really?
No. 7 is personal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Companies usually, when they go bankrupt, right, they'll do a restructuring, and if the restructuring doesn't work, then they do a liquidation of assets, in which like investors and whatever
Right.
come and deplete and tear apart the company.
Well,
Okay, so Miami Herald.
Miami Herald is so the company that owns them, I'm looking at the article right now. I think it's called McClatchy. I can never remember. They filed for bankruptcy. McClatchy Company. They're the second largest local news company in America. They filed for bankruptcy. What it means is Chapter 11. Basically, they're looking to unload the stocks of their company M&I. Which
Okay, but does this company own more than one publication?
it owns more than one publication.
Okay, so it's like the parent company of the Miami Herald.
At one point, I'm gonna paint you a very simple picture of the dire straits that they're in. At one point, their stocks were priced at $741 per share
Coño.
in 2005. Currently, take a guess what it's trading at.
Is it a penny stock?
Pretty
5
much
cents?
10 cents, dollar. No, 74 cents.
Wow.
74 cents from $741.
So is it your typical?
It's your typical, everything is down. The problem is also that they didn't, and I've always said this, newspapers didn't mobilize quick enough with digital. So now they're scrambling. But the saddest part about it is that part of the restructuring, what's going to affect is a lot of people who are currently have pensions and things like that. So it's going to,
That's messed up.
that is royally fucked up.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute.
That's really
this
fucked
is a
up.
good subject. The newspaper.
I was gonna bridge it a little more because I don't know if you heard a couple weeks ago, iHeartMedia also got rid of like hundreds of on-air talent.
Oh, really?
It was like a bloodbath. They got rid of talent, producers, a shit ton of them, and usually in the smaller markets, because what they're doing is, and I have a total issue with this. They're consolidating, and now there's going to be more syndicated. So they're going to
Like
put
Elvis
Elvis
Duran
Duran and your Ryan Seacrests into more markets.
To talk about generic things.
To talk about things like, airplane food or whatever the fuck they talk about, And so that's also, I mean, it's a good thing for us because that's why more people are listening to podcasts. So thank you, listeners. But I feel like that's what all these companies are going towards. Is they're trying to automate everything and make it just broader and cheaper. And you're going to lose the essence of what these local publications and these local, broadcasts are all about.
Lucy Lopez can't be replicated.
Ever.
Lucy Lopez. I mean, if Miami has a voice, like literally
Lucy
has,
Lopez.
it's Lucy Lopez.
It's Lucy Lopez.
Que no me metan a Elvis Duran. No
Exactly.
offense to Elvis Duran. I think Elvis Duran is great at his job, and he has
He's
a
good at what he does,
fantastic voice.
but he's generic. But the show's generic.
It is very generic. You could tell when you listen to the Morning Zoo that how many
I don't even know how many markets there are.
markets are there in?
I don't even know how many markets there are.
Because for a while there it was just Miami and New York.
Right, and now they're also in the,
And
I know they're in the Midwest.
and when it was Miami and New York, and like Froggy was on,
Right.
there was still a little bit of that like New York,
They had
Miami
the opportunity,
flavor,
yeah.
and especially because I think Miami and New York mesh well culturally.
we do. We got
You
along.
know, I don't want to say it kind of worked because obviously a local one would have been better, but it wasn't terrible. But I think now it's like also like Cleveland.
It's just generic. It's just generic. I mean, you cannot put you can't replace like your Lucy Lopez's, your Jade Alexander, your Kenny Walkers, Javier Romero. I mean, these are local people. I mean, even Enrique Santos, who I know is syndicated to a degree, but I mean, again, maybe it's because he's based here and he keeps it a little local.
He has a great voice.
He does have a great voice, but and again, I think
That
that's
helps.
it doesn't hurt. On that note, Louis Aguirre should be a DJ.
Yeah.
But go ahead and talk where you're. I know you were.
Well, no. What I was going to say, no. That's
But
a
it's
good
but
point
it's like
that
an
you made.
epidemic.
But what the newspaper? I am, I'm a traditionalist when it comes down to stuff like that. I just cannot read the newspaper digitally. I think
It's not the same.
the newspaper is something that I think, especially the Sunday newspaper, it's a bit of an experience.
The Sunday newspaper is so much thinner than when we were growing up now.
Well, here,
It's sad.
all
It's-
truth be
it's
told, for many years, I used to subscribe to the New York Times.
Oh, okay.
Like the Sunday edition.
Oh, okay.
Because that also has like the New York Times Magazine and all that stuff. And yeah, I think there's an experience sitting down.
But tactile.
Yes, and
yeah.
tangibly like going through the newspaper.
Yeah.
That's why like I would, like we've said this a million times, like when we would buy CDs. Yes, obviously the convenience now of
It's not
everything
the
is digital.
same.
But there was something about opening the CD and like
Sitting with the
taking out
book.
the lyrics and looking at it and all that. I would like to say that's, I think, one of the reasons vinyl's coming back, because you have
Yeah.
that tangible format.
I would agree.
So I don't know. It's just sign of the times. What worries me about that is something else. What worries me about that is that I feel that despite all the warnings that we have received, that Facebook is not a credible source of news whatsoever.
It's not?
People are still getting their news from Facebook.
True. And it's dangerous because, I mean, on the one hand, you can subscribe and follow a New York Times or a Miami Herald on Facebook and theoretically get your news through Facebook from them. But that's not what's happening. And it's funny because somebody posted on Facebook, somebody posted this article and then somebody commented on it and said, oh, what we need is, a publication that's just no nonsense news that tells the truth. And immediately the first thing I thought is, according to whom? According to whom? Because what we have now is all these news, and I'm using the world's biggest air quotes right now to say news, sites that all purport to say the truth.
Yeah. Fox is fair and balanced.
Well, but even Fox is at least a credible news source to a degree. I'm talking like your Breitbart.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking that level, or whatever the far left version of that is, or conspiracy theory websites and things like that. Like, that's where I'm worried about, because at this point, the reason I think a lot of these newspapers are going under is because people just, if they don't have the news that they want to agree with,
Right. Everybody's in their echo chamber.
so then I'm not going to buy that paper because that paper is leftist.
All Cubans
it's
think
right.
that,
It's conservative.
the Miami Herald
It's
izquierdista,
communist.
comunista,
It's
yeah.
this. It's that. And it's like, no.
But isn't everything communist?
For us, it is. Yes, in all fairness. But it's like, no. They're just saying something you don't want to hear. It's two very different things.
I'm sorry. You know what I can't stop thinking about?
What?
Have you been to the fruit stand Robert is here in Homestead?
No, you keep telling me about it.
They have the best strawberry shake in like the world.
Okay, I want to go there because you keep telling me about the damn shakes, and I want the shake.
You know, it's so funny. So they have all types of shakes.
Totally on topic.
They have all types of shakes, like every fruit you can imagine. Y tienen batido de tamarindo.
Para brindar este domingo.
But apparently, tamarindo's very expensive because the tamarindo
tamarind,
shake,
yeah.
it's $11.
Tamarind isn't cheap.
Yeah, it's $11, where all the other ones are like 5 or 6. I'm like, coño, el tamarindo está caro.
Por eso se brinde domingo.
Por eso nada más
Es solamente domingo.
So I want to talk about something a little stupid and frivolous, but I saw this.
More so than jugo de tamarindo.
It's so good. Can we go get a shake after this?
Where is this place?
Well, no. We can't go to Robert's here because, first of all, that's in the middle of a strawberry field in Homestead.
Sounds safe.
Okay. What is your take? And listeners out there, chime in. Speak out loud.
We know you talk to us. We've heard from many of you.
Okay. What is your take
Dios mío.
on reclining in an air? Well, I can't think of the word. Airplane.
In an aeroplane?
Reclining in an airplane. What is your take on it? Reclining your seat in an airplane. I have a very strong moral code.
I know you do. I don't have an issue with it. Sometimes I mean, I don't have to recline because sometimes I fall asleep before it even takes off. And, you have to have your seat straight up because you can't lean back. And I sleep for like a good 2 hours on the flight. So clearly I don't need it to be reclined. It doesn't bother me. I'm going to take that back. It bothers me, but only if I'm working on something, like if I've got like the computer and then they lean back. But Other than that, I don't really care.
I don't recline in the air.
I find it fascinating that you don't recline.
I don't recline. I think it's very...
Because you are not petite.
I think it's very rude. And I'm sorry to our listeners who think it is.
You think it's rude?
I think it's very rude. I think it's very disconsiderate to the person behind you. Now, if we were in first class and we had the stretching room.
Yeah, or in Qatar Airways.
But in coach, in coach.
Que ahorita you're going to be in bunk beds.
Right.
Right.
To recline, especially all the way. Because sometimes if just like I'm really uncomfortable, I'll just like push the button like boop, just to like get it out of the 90-degree angle.
You know, like a 88-degree angle.
Right, just to get it out of the 90-degree angle. I'll just put it like a little push, like a little
for the vertebrae.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. That is the most. Or the only other time I would recline is like, for example, if behind me there's like a really small kid.
Fine.
Right.
They're not gonna care.
And even then I'll like be to the kid, like I'll say like something like, hey, I'm gonna recline my seat, whatever.
Right,
if you have snacks, let me know and I'll like move my seat up, like whatever. Or I'll like wink to like the parents or something. Right. I think it's very rude and it's very disconsiderate. I do not lean back because to me, when the person in front of me leans all the way back, it's just horrible. Like, I just went from like having no space to you being almost on my lap. Like, and I don't know, like, especially especially if it's like a shorter flight. And when I mean a shorter flight, I mean under like 3 hours or under.
Like you're in New York.
It's like, come on. I mean,
you can deal.
You can deal with it.
Yeah,
you can deal with it. I mean, again, I
when we flew to LA, I reclined.
I think it's very rude.
That's a 5-hour flight.
I think it's very rude, and the reason I brought that up is because this week, this woman was reclining. She reclined all the way back, or reclined on her chair,
as far as it goes.
And the guy started like kicking her because he didn't have any room because he was on his laptop, and she started recording it. Lord. And then of course she was saying that he was kicking her. And, she had a problem with one of her discs, and he was aggravating it. Mind you, she was kind of smiling during the whole thing. But
that's what was aggravating, her smile muscles.
Right. So you don't care.
I mean, I don't like it, but it doesn't bother me per se. Like I said, if I'm working on something, then yes, it's a little annoying. But at the same time, it's like, that's their chair. I mean, we're on this together.
Yeah. No, I don't recline. And you know what I also don't do? Not that I've been on first class, but if I were on first class, I would not be one of these people that's like taking a selfie like, hey, here I am about to take off. But mind you, the selfie is in such an angle and in such a way that it clearly shows they're in one of those pods.
I would, because I've never done first class and I need to record it for posterity.
Right. But put it on Facebook, on whatever.
Why not?
Instagram? No, I don't like it.
Why not?
I think it's those people bragging.
But
that's
whatever.
like my personal favorite.
But I think it's how you do it. I think it's in how you do it, because that if I was to post something like that, I wouldn't be like, hey guys, I'm in first class. I would be more like, oh my god, guys, I got bumped up to first class.
Right.
I never thought.
But
like, this
the
is so
people
cool.
that I'm talking about, do you think they do it that way?
Okay, no.
They'll be
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
They'll be like,
that's
oh
what I'm
no,
saying.
I'm about to take off.
But that's what I'm saying. That's how I would do
about
it.
To take off. That's like my personal favorite are the people that are like, oh yeah, did a Starbucks run this morning, and mind you, they clearly show the steering wheel of their car, because the only place to take a picture of your latte is with the steering wheel behind it,
to show the emblem of your car.
It's generally a BMW or a Mercedes or an Audi or something like that. It's never a
Corolla.
Yeah, it's never a Hyundai or a Toyota.
No.
It's always a Benz or a BMW. And those of you out there know who you are, right? Nobody takes a picture of their Starbucks coffee in front of
in front of a moped,
in front of their Kia Optima. No. But their Mercedes C-Class with hubcaps.
That's the only place to consume a latte.
Yeah, apparently
it just tastes creamier.
Apparently
it does. It does.
And what I think is so funny about that, it's like there's so many angles that you could take, even inside the car. There's so many angles that you could take. Because, like, if I were to take a picture of a cup inside the car, actually, the steering wheel would be probably the last place I would take a picture, because it's the closest thing to me.
Yeah, the angle is not great.
Right. So I would probably extend my arm more towards, like, the center of the car, like the center dashboard, and maybe from there take a
you don't want to look like a T-Rex.
Right. But, of course, that doesn't show the huge emblem of your Mercedes-Benz, So, whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So, okay. So I want to talk about... This is one of my little Hispanic, growing up Hispanic moments versus not growing up Hispanic moments. So what do you think about this? So I know someone who their grandson is he's 12 and he's a very, very bright kid.
Okay.
Okay. And his teacher nominated him to go to, I don't remember if it was Harvard or MIT, but it was like a big school,
like an Ivy League,
like a very, very, very
prestigious
Ivy League school. Now they're going to have a program in the summer
Okay.
on, I think, robotics.
Okay, so probably MIT.
Right. And they invited him to participate. And it's going to be, I think, for a good chunk of the summer.
Okay.
And I was talking to her about it. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing, because
That's
not
Tremendo,
only is it a great experience, but like that is the type of stuff that you want on your college application. I mean, can you just imagine saying that when you were in the 7th grade, you attended, a summer program
At MIT.
where you built a robot? I mean, that is like what really propels you to that next level.
Absolutely.
So it's an amazing experience. So here's where the hashtag growing up Hispanic comes into. I mentioned this to my mom. Por nada de la vida, yo mando un hijo mío. No me importa qué escuela sea. Para eso tú puedes ir a Miami-Dade.
No, you can't. You really can't.
Yo por nada de la vida dejo que un hijo mío se vaya solo por ahí. No me importa qué escuela es. No me importa para qué sea. Tú, si tú quieres estudiar, tú puedes estudiar. Right?
Right.
So, esa es una locura. I'm like, but mom, this is like very prestigious.
It opens doors.
He was nominated by one of his teachers, like, in a school of like hundreds of kids and blah, blah,
Right.
blah. And, his grandmother, it's one of my assistants. His grandmother, she's very modern.
Okay.
Yeah, very modern. She's very open-minded.
Yeah, she's super cool.
She was, raised here in the U.S., so she gets
different
it.
mentality.
It's a different mentality. But, she's a little bit concerned
She
too.
straddles that fence.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So she's like, I know it's really good, but should I? Because he's only 12. And, I know this kid, and he's very bright, but he's very like un niño de su casa. You know what I mean?
He's 12.
Right. No un niño de estos que andan en bicicleta solo por ahí, like a hoodlum,
Right.
He's very de su casa and of his family. So she's kind of like, she's very conflicted. I'm like, well, I would go to the school or whomever to see exactly how this is set up and all that, whatever. To see exactly.
Hi, Chico. She's your assistant. Let her work from
so
remote.
What is your take on this?
Let her work from remote so that she can be with him, and that way she can stay like un motelero algo seca, and she'll be. And everybody wins.
So what's your take on this? As Hispanic parents,
So as
Porque
somebody,
un americano ya would have already bought him the plane ticket.
before the application was even dry.
Yes.
I still to this day.
And it's 12. It's not like he's 15 or 16.
Yeah,
he's 12.
That's the thing. It's the age. I don't know if at 12 you can be quote unquote alone. But then I flip it and I say the one thing I always wanted to do was go to sleepaway camp, summer camp, and I never got to do it. And that's actually about the age that you do it. Is sleepaway like what?
But like I really thought about it because I'm like, there's.
Would you? Would you if that?
I don't know. I would have to cross that bridge when I
you like to think objectively you would say yes.
I would like to think that as somebody who went to like college and went to law school and and all that, and I went to school in Michigan, I understand the importance of that, which I do. But yes, the Cuban parent in me comes out because I'm like el niño. ¿Con quién va a estar el niño?
Your kid is like going to be 7 this year, and you still refer to him as the baby.
Y el niño, si el niño se siente mal,
we're still a niño, and where you and I are not niño age, okay? At all.
Like. I think ultimately I would let him because I understand the importance of that. And especially, your kid really is talented and bright. You don't want to like have them stay behind.
I also think it depends on the kid. It depends
on the kid.
On la madurez del muchacho.
But I have to tell you that I would really struggle with it. I don't think it would be as easy as I think it would be. I would really struggle with it.
Really?
Oh my God. You have been there when we've like gone to Orlando,
That's true.
which is up the street, and I'm like, Tristan, let's Skype, and I'm like, you saw him 3 hours ago, and I'm like, yes, I know, but we're not in the same county.
This is also true. Like literally, the drive down from New York with you was like I miss the baby. I haven't seen him. I haven't talked to him in 3 hours. I haven't. And I was like, wow. And to think this was the person who, you know, growing up was just like, if I have kids, I'll have kids. Fine, whatever. Like,
you're putting it very lightly.
Well, but you know, you were like, I'll probably have kids, but if I don't have kids, fine, whatever. I don't care.
Whatever.
Like, whatever. But now you're like, you know, you're like a scotch away from putting that honor roll sticker on your bumper, sir.
If I ever do, you can punch me in the face.
It is now on the record.
I do. But yeah.
Actually, they make them now, I think, with magnets. So you can, yeah, you can put them on and take them off. It's fine.
So yeah, that's something I'll never forget. That and I think all kids have gone through this. When I was in 7th grade, I joined, you know, I was in French, remember?
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And like most French classes do, there was like the
study
trip to
abroad.
France. And I remember when I took I brought the brochure home where parents can go to the meeting at school.
Right.
And when I showed it to my parents, that brochure of like the summer in Paris, voló como Matías Pérez. Que tú quieres ir a París. Mira, mijito.
Mira.
Yeah, so that you're talking about my parents, and my parents understand
Sí, no son guajiro.
of culture,
Right,
and you know, especially
right.
my father, of culture and experience and all that. No. Culture. No, culture goes out the window. Tú solo.
Hijo mío, cultura o no cultura, me importa
Solo.
menos.
En Francia. ¿Con quién? ¿Quién? Yo no conozco a esa persona. Que sea una persona decente de su casa. Por favor.
I will say that is one of the perfect things that One Day at a Time perfectly encapsulated in one of their episodes where Papito is going away. He's on a baseball team, of course, as every good Cuban boy is. And he was supposed to go away for a tournament, and ni la abuela ni la mamá podían ir. And Schneider is just like, you know, oh, well, I can go with him or whatever. And they just start laughing. And they're like, what? They're like, you can't go with him. Like, but why? I'm here. Like, it's not about you. It's because we're Cuban. We don't let them out of our sight unless it's me, my mother, my father, or, you know, like it's like, you know, that nucleus or whatever. And I was like, yeah, it was that one of those moments where it clicked in my head even more that I'm like, this is very clearly created and written by Cubans.
Yeah. but it's incredible how like your mind changes, because like, for example, when I was a kid, when we were kids in the 80s,
yeah,
that was the most normal thing. You would get on your bike and you'd be like, see you later. And
you never like just rode like to when I was a little.
Don't you know the story of when I crossed Miller Road?
No. You
know the story. We've known each other for 30 years.
I don't know the story.
Okay.
Or if I do, I'm totally blanking right now.
We live in the suburbs, obviously. Miller Road to my parents' house is the closest major thoroughfare to the house.
Yeah.
When I mean closest, I mean it's
at the
probably...
time, it was, what, a 2-lane? Because they just recently, in the last like 10 years, expanded it.
Right. But it's like a major street, right?
Right.
But it may have been a 2-lane
yeah.
in the 80s. But still, even then, it was like a major street, right? It is maybe a quarter mile from my parents' house.
If that.
It's a quarter mile.
Yeah.
So when I was 3rd grade, so I was 8 or 9 years old,
okay.
I wanted to go visit my friend Annabelle Cito, who was in my class.
Oh, okay. I know.
You remember her?
Yeah.
And I crossed Miller Road. So I went to her house and whatever, I don't know. We played in the yard and whatever, as
8-year-olds do, yeah.
8 and 9-year-olds do. I don't know. I played in her yard or whatever. I took maybe an hour and a half. I start riding my bike home. When I turn into the street where my parents live, but in the corner of the block, my parents' front door neighbor was like, "Oh my God, there you are." He was walking on the sidewalk, and I'm like, okay. He's like, everybody's looking for you.
No.
When I turn into
I have never heard the story.
The cops were there. Every single neighbor was outside. And my parents and my aunt and uncle, even Johnny Bibi had even come from like West State.
Oh my God.
My grandmother, my dad's mom, who lived in another house, had come over.
Lo único que
faltaba era Canal 23. That was like the only thing. So when I turn there, I see this like barrage of like people and cars.
This activity.
My parents were dying. They were inconsolable. And they're like, El Niño. You don't know the story?
I don't know the story at all.
El Niño. And yeah. También, it was the 80s, and the 80s is
we had just gone through Adam Walsh.
No, and they were, yes. And that's when they were kidnapping kids that had green eyes to steal their corneas.
Wait, what?
You don't remember that?
No.
In the 80s,
I have brown eyes, so I wouldn't.
80s,
I was not in
There
danger.
was this whole thing. I don't know how true it is, right? It's one of those like kind of urban legends. Like,
Right.
was this true
But
or
there's
not?
probably a truth
That
somewhere.
they would kidnap like kids with light eyes to steal their corneas. Like, I don't know where that came from.
Well, I was never in danger. I have dark eyes.
Oh my god! And I'll never forget that my aunt,
Uh-huh.
she got on her knees and started crying and holding me, and I'm like, I just went to Annabelle Steele's house. I was gone maybe an hour
We're
and a
playing
half
hide and seek, like
tops,
yeah.
tops, which was long.
Again, if they didn't know where you were, yes.
But let me tell you this, so
you were never allowed to ride your bike again.
no. The thought of Tristan going out on his bike and being gone an hour and a half, yeah, I would have called Canal 23. I would have lost my shit. Because that's what I was telling you. Like when we were kids, that was very normal that you would get, especially if you were a boy, not even a girl. Like you get on your bike and.
No, I used to ride bike with like the front neighborhood, like my front door neighbor. It was a kid. We used to ride the bike. We used to go to home run baseball in La 40.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right. Oh my God. Like from where you lived. Like,
we would take the back streets.
Yeah, but still, that was like not around your block.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I don't know if I would let Tristan do that. Because the thought of him like doing that, it's
Would you let him do it if he was with a friend?
no.
Even less.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
See, I'd be more concerned by himself. I'm of the mind that if it's at least two kids, at least one of the kids
No,
will
none
start
of them.
screaming.
None of them. None of them. Yeah. Yeah. Like it.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
You've got to let baby birds fly.
Yeah, but no, there's vultures.
Yeah, but if they don't know how to defend themselves against the vultures, they're never going to leave the nest.
No, but that's why I tell you that, like, the thought of that now, and I could easily say, no, but now it's different than when we were kids. It isn't, it isn't.
It's different in the context of...
There's certain differences,
right.
But there's, you know...
El mal siempre existió.
Yeah, but it's like the thought about it, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. The cops were there when I turned... Like, it looked like when I think about it now in the movie, like in my mind, it's kind of like I see it as a movie. Like I see like shots.
When they turn the car
Like
and
when I
it's
turn my
yeah.
bike onto like, you know, the street, my parents' street, like it's like a panoramic view, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like all the neighbors were outside, all of them.
Now, follow-up question. Did they beat the crap out of you
They
afterwards?
beat the crap out of me. I was punished. My mom put...
After they were thrilled that you were back and alive.
My mom covered the windows. I don't know why.
So you couldn't get vitamin D?
Took the TV out of my room.
Okay,
like,
that
yeah.
I get. Okay.
Yeah, it was like bad. It was like really bad. It wasn't worse than when I burned the kitchen down, but it was bad.
I mean, I could see how the kitchen burning would be worse.
Yeah.
It's very...
But okay,
yeah.
To bring it home, do you think that is a Hispanic, you know, Latin, Cuban, whatever trait?
I think it is. However, I think it's generational. So I don't necessarily know that when Tristan has kids or Tristan's kids have kids, you know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily know that they'll feel that tied to it. I think that for us, it goes back to a lot of the things. Like, a lot of our culture is still firsthand. Mm-hmm. You know, it's esa costumbre. Your assistant is a perfect example of that. You know, she's struggling with it, right? Where she's like, quiero pero no quiero. Mm-hmm. The next, you know, her grandson is going to be a little more on the quiero side of the no quiero. And so I think that is very Hispanic. Mm-hmm. Very Hispanic. Oh my God. Like, yeah.
My personal favorite question. Did you go to a lot of slumber parties growing up?
Slumber parties?
¿De qué tú hablas? Quedarse en una casa ajena.
Sí,
Tú no sabes quién son esa gente.
Wasn't our first slumber party, and we've known each other since the dawn of time at like the age of like 19 or 20.
Yeah.
That was like the first time that we all just like, you know, stayed at somebody's house.
And how did that go? Not everybody was allowed to go.
Exactly.
We will not name names, but not everybody was allowed to go.
And we were all legal adults.
We were all, actually, no, we were older. We were like 20, 21.
We were drinking age, probably?
Yes, we were. Yeah. Yeah. Those are the things that really make you culturally, like in terms of Hispanic, like those are
the shared experiences
those are cultural, like, I don't know, beacons, if you will, that just don't fade away, or they don't fade away that quickly.
No, that's
ingrained in your
that
DNA.
probably shows up on the 23andMe results.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It's like you're 20%, Iberian, 30% African, 10% you're not sleeping in anybody's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dormir en una casa de ajena.
Yo no
Pero tú
conozco esa
estás
gente.
loco. Ahí hay un tío algo depravado y ya se jodió la cosa.
The only houses I was allowed to sleep in were my aunt's houses and my sister's godparents. But again, my mother has known my sister's both godparents because they got married, I think, senior year of high school. Mm-hmm. God, my mom knows Mercy since they were like in 6th or 7th grade. Mm-hmm. So like us, you know what I mean? So those are the only houses we were allowed to sleep in.
I was not allowed to sleep in any, not even my cousins.
Really?
No, I think it also had a lot to do with the fact that I was a terror.
Oh, so they didn't want it wasn't your parents. They didn't want you there.
Right, but no. No. Tú no, tú tienes cama aquí. Tú no tienes que dormir.
No, like my cousins would sleep over at our house too sometimes. Especially if it was one of those things where like growing up, my dad would take us a lot of times to like the wrestling things. Mm-hmm. So like we would go to the wrestling thing and we'd get home late so that my cousins would just sleep over. It was like de viernes a sábado, and then we, it's done over.
Yeah. No.
But you also grew up next to your cousins, so it was always like kind of a sleepover.
No, I mean other cousins.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
No. And also, my family didn't believe in integration of the sexes. No. Tú no andas con la sembra. Los varones para allá y la sembra para allá. You know, like...
Integration of the sexes.
I don't... No. Los varones váyanse para allá a jugar pelota en la bicicleta y las niñas quédense aquí. No.
Yeah, girls could not be active.
No.
Because that's how you get muscles.
Yeah. I'll be like, niña, no salgas y te vas a sudar. Vas a empezar a sudar. God forbid you sweat.
In, the most humid place on earth.
Right. Well, you know why, right? Because the thing is that if you sweat y te coge el sereno,
hasta llegaste.
That's it. You are dead.
Ahí llegaste. That's it.
Dead. Actually, that reminds me of something.
Oh, God.
Here we are switching topics.
As we are wont to do.
¿Qué me dices tú a mí?
Whenever you start that way.
The coronavirus
Mira, la corona, el virus ese de la corona. First of all, whoever came up with that name, tremendo fallo. Because it doesn't sound dangerous.
Not that it's a laughing matter.
It doesn't sound dangerous at all. Like before this, we had like Ebola, SARS. Like, these were dangerous sounding viruses. And now it just sounds like you forgot the lime. No, the coronavirus. You know what? The whole coronavirus thing, that is some bullshit communism right there.
Really? That's a very bold statement to make.
The reason that's gotten this out of hand? Absolutely, it's about communist China.
Of China's handling of it.
Yes, the guy who first brought it to the attention of the country, who was a doctor. I think his name was Dr. Lee. I was actually listening to this morning. The government, he started like tweeting about it or whatever. The government made him retract his statement and sign a document saying that it was fake news and he was spreading false rumors and things like that. The guy contracted the virus, eventually, and died from it. And now the Chinese government, after saying that he was a liar and this, that, and the other, is extolling him for, thanking him for trying to warn us about these things.
That's why you can never trust the communist government.
Absolutely not.
Esto es culpa de comunista. ¿Viste? It all comes down to communism.
It all comes down to communism. All of it.
I find quite, I don't know if the right word is comical, but the cruise ships, there's certain cruise ships that are being denied.
They can't go anywhere. They can't go anywhere.
I guess there's worse places to be than on a cruise ship.
Yeah, but the food's going to run out.
Yeah, that may be a problem.
That's the problem.
I would like to think there's a restocking. Like a little boat will come, a little tugboat, and restock it.
A tugboat? I'm picturing like a helicopter just dropping supplies.
Or that.
That's because that has less human contact.
Right. That's true. You thought like somebody who used to work in a cruise line.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like the coronavirus. On the one hand, I feel like it's definitely scary. But on the other hand, I feel like it's one of those things where so far I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, most of the people who've died from it are people who were already like kind of compromised. O sea, eran gente, it was elderly people or children, you know what I mean? Like where the immune system is already not great and they could have died from just a regular flu if it gets them bad enough. It's scary. But again, needs a better name.
I saw this meme Again, not that this is a laughing matter.
It is.
Because there's people who've died of it.
Well, okay,
but
fair
I saw this meme.
Fair enough.
I saw this meme that were like, hey, anti-vaxxers, why don't you go to China and prove us all wrong. So I posted something today on our personal Instagram. On our personal Instagram. On our Instagram that we always joke at, but like I actually want to talk about now.
Okay.
Like in depth. So I posted the thing of the la toalla.
De adorno.
De adorno. Que eso no se toca.
No.
Right. And
If it has lace, don't touch it.
no. And then el juego de sala.
Yeah. For the visit, la visita que nunca viene.
Okay, do you remember? Not anymore. My parents, after they retired, they don't give a shit. But do you remember growing up, you guys coming to my house? Do you have any memories of you sitting in the living room of my house?
I do, and I can count them on. Not that I can count them, but I can tell you what they were.
Okay.
Prom.
Uh-huh.
Homecoming.
Where you take the nice picture.
Right. It was those types of
And then,
events,
of course,
right.
there was my special occasion comforter.
Your special occasion Ralph Lauren comforter.
Right.
Yes.
I had this comforter in my room, my bedroom at my parents' house. That was just beautiful. I still have it. This beautiful, like, denim.
Like a soft denim.
Comforter that was, like, Ralph Lauren, and it had, like, the
American flag.
The American flag.
Logo.
Like, it was very nice. But that would not be the comforter that I would sleep in daily. Nope. When I knew people were coming to the house, like it was my birthday or Christmas, whatever, I knew people were coming into my house or to my room, I would take out my special occasion comforter because that was, what I wanted you to see.
To this day, when I go to your parents' house, if it's a special occasion, I fully expect to see the special occasion comforter. So, I feel like it should be framed like the AIDS quilt and just put on a wall somewhere.
My special occasion
this is
comforter.
The special occasion comforter.
Anyway, why do we do that? Because let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Maybe I could be flippant and witty,
in my parents' house,
the
living room, as you said, we've always put the Christmas
Ahora,
tree
después de viejo, cuando yo me siento en that area.
Yeah, we've always put we used to put the Christmas tree in the living room.
Yes, right.
So I'll never forget, like, this was for years and years and years and years and years. When we would open up our presents on Christmas, we would sit in the living room furniture.
Yes.
We were allowed.
Yes, same in my house. Same in my house.
But the moment somebody gave you a box of cordial cherries,
you had to go to the kitchen.
You need to get up.
You need to go to medio patio.
Porque acuérdate, the cordial cherries had that little liquid inside.
I hated cordial cherries.
¿Qué pasa? Te vas a comer el chocolate y vas a embarrar el juego de sala del dorado.
I hate those cordial cherries, but I have such a nice memory of the cordial cherries because my mom's
I love them.
Tío Eduardito used to always give me that for Christmas every year.
Yeah.
And he's since passed. So, like, in my mind, I associate it with that, but I never liked them. And
I love them.
Really?
And actually, I put them in the fridge because that little water turned white.
Like, freeze them almost?
Yeah.
No.
Why do we do that?
I don't know. Okay,
do you know what my mom does?
I don't know why we do. I could give some type of a
Okay, next time you go to my parents' house,
but
next time you go to my parents' house, I want you to take a look at the hand soap in the sink. There's 2 bottles
in the
of
bathroom?
hand soap. Yes.
Okay.
There's 2 bottles of hand soap. My mom puts the very pretty, either from Home Goods or Bath and Body Works, the very pretty hand wash and like the very pretty container, country chic kind of sort of, to go with the motif of the. Right. Eso es adorno.
There's nothing in there.
No. There is. Pero ese no se usa. Ese es adorno. On your left-hand side, under the toothbrush dispenser, where you can't see as much, is the one you actually use.
Now I'm wondering which one I've used.
But you're not supposed to use the one on the right-hand side. Eso es adorno. The soap. The soap is adorno. Why do we do that?
Does it matter if I use it on a special occasion? Like if I'm there for Tristan's birthday?
I guess not.
Okay. Then I feel a little better. That's probably
why?
What it was.
Why do we do that? Okay, Hashtag growing up Hispanic.
The soap thing, I don't know. But I think on some level, it's that Latino thing of like being presumido. And not in a bad way. I know that usually has a negative connotation. But having like that thing that is just so pretty in case that special moment,
La vajilla.
La vajilla, la sala, like to have it there because, when that moment arrives, you don't know when it's coming, but you'll know it when it gets there. Mm-hmm. You want to have a nice place for la visita.
My parents have una vajilla. It's nothing fancy, but es una vajilla. They bought it at J. Byron's.
Oh, wow.
Parts of it is still in the box.
So they've used it.
They're waiting for the Queen of England. I think they're waiting for Elizabeth to come to the house to to like, yeah.
Write her. Maybe she'll come.
Yeah, I don't know.
Listen, Harry and Meghan were here not that long ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe she'll swing by
Maybe
too.
they'll settle with Raul Martinez from Hialeah coming. I don't know. But, yeah, nobody likes Raul Martinez. No. They'll give him paper plates. Coge si tú quieres. There are still parts of it that is in its original packaging over the refrigerator, in the cabinet over the refrigerator. So, but why? Like I often think, is it a situation that, like, you know, because they come from Cuba or from like
a status,
not so much of a status, but
it's the wrong word. But you know what I'm trying to say.
But because it was so hard to have nicer things, when you do have something nice,
when you can afford it, you want to have it.
You don't want to touch it,
right? You want it to stay nice.
Yes, you don't want to touch it because it's like, this is our nice living room furniture. This is what you first see when you come into the house.
It sets
do
the
not
tone.
touch it.
It sets the tone for the rest of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a real reason, but yeah, I think that's
because that's very Hispanic.
Oh my God, that's super Hispanic. See, what's the meme every Thanksgiving? It's like, you know, getting all dressed up to sit in la sala.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter si comes en plato plástico.
Oh, no. It's not that. You have to wear the whole 3-piece suit. You're going to sit there with a plastic plate, but it doesn't matter.
No, it's funny because, like, in the last few years, I've been the one who've kind of like taken over Thanksgiving at my parents' house, right. Including carving the turkey. Let me tell you something. Carving a turkey's fucking bitch, especially since that thing is so hot. When you're carving it, it's like steam. So I am.
You use electric carver?
Yes, but still. So there I am, you know, in like my nice shirt, you know, that I just took a shower in. I smell, you know, tengo cologne on and whatever.
That lasts all of 2 minutes.
And, you know, después I'm like all sweaty and whatever. That's like, I think 2 years ago. Because again, since I'm the one who's like cooking the turkey from like the whole day, right? I smelled like shit. I was like in an old tee, like a gym t-shirt. That by the time the food was ready and everybody was dressed up, I'm like, I don't care. I cooked this damn thing.
If not for me, you'd have no food.
I am sitting. I'm whatever.
Digan lo que quieran decir.
Por Diosero. But yeah, like I think it's so incredible of our culture, and that is something that is very, I think that no matter what country you're from, it's very Latin. The word
it's very Latin. It's very Latino. Yeah.
Well, let's not forget that if it would have been in the 80s, it would have had plastic on it,
as everything did.
Yes, porque eso hay que guardarlo. Eso no se puede usar.
I used to hate going to certain like family members' houses, usually older people, and they had the plastic. Mm-hmm. And of course, I was little, so I was always wearing like, you know, shorts or whatever, and like my legs would stick because, of course, we live on the equator.
Yes,
and it's always hot as balls here. Mm-hmm. And this was before central AC.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, you know what was the worst? So, you know, my parents were like really poor growing up. So I don't know if it's because cars in the 80s maybe were not as fuel efficient as they were eventually. I'll never forget that my parents' first car was first new car was a 1985 Ford Tempo. And that was like, we were driving a freaking like Bugatti because it was like a brand new car that my parents had. It was a 1985 Ford Tempo. Because before that, all the cars they had were like un transportation. Right?
Un transportation?
But, you know, by that time they had already been here 5-6 years. So, you know, they finally got a new car. Bueno, even with the new car, they would not put on the air. The only time my parents would put on the air was si íbamos a una boda o a unos 15.
Claro, because you had to no ibas a llegar.
Right, so tú tenías que poner aire acondicionado en el carro. Right. Una boda a unos 15. You know, my mom's hair was all like made up big 80s.
Yeah, Aquanet can only hold so much.
Yes. You know, I love to see my mom's like dresses in the 80s. I love to see people in Cuba wearing them now.
Oh, that's so
because it's so funny because when people have subsequently like years later
sí, tienen una ovación
they'll go to Cuba and, you know, era gente del pueblo, gente de, you know, because we don't have any close family left in Cuba, but maybe, you know, second, third cousins, and I'd be like looking at their pictures, I'm like, that looks like a dress my mom wore when I was a kid, and I'm like,
and you have a photographic memory.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, my mom's dress was like yellow with like black doves, like, or black birds. Right. It's like, this is like very distinguishable. But then it's like a different shape, and then they would like repurpose it. It was like great.
They are the best at repurposing clothing. Yeah, they're very green.
Those are the things, like those are the little things that when you're growing up, especially in a Hispanic household, that like you don't know it, but it's like so. Those are the things that make you.
That's what you really remember and you take away as you grow up.
That we would just turn on the air en el carro cuando íbamos a una boda, unos 15, o a la iglesia.
Bueno, claro.
O a la iglesia. Claro.
Again, special occasions.
You know, your Sunday best.
Special occasions.
Tú no puedes llegar a la iglesia sudado.
No, parecía que iba a salir de una botella, no joda.
Hashtag growing up Hispanic.
Oh Lord.
Especially in Miami in the equator.
In the
as you
equator
said.
that we live
Oh my
in.
God, you know it was like the worst when you were growing up and you would go to church. So whenever it was a Domingo de Ramos,
Oh, Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday, que te daban like the nice little green palm,
Yes.
palm leaf
Y eso duraba
to put it in your car. Right. But by like a few months later,
months, by a few days.
That thing
Ya
had it.
eso estaba más carmelita
It
que
looked
café.
like beef jerky.
It did. It was like months. I'm
Because we would always hang it from the rearview mirror.
Of course, you turn it into a little cross, and then you put it in the rearview mirror. That's what everybody did.
Then I remember ours will get to a point that if you touch it, it would like disintegrate.
Oh, it was dust. It was holding on by the thread of the Holy Spirit that imbued it.
Ay.
Bueno.
Well, with that note,
I think
I'm very, very thirsty.
we should be. We have. It's wonderful. So I have my last soda. Do you have yours? All right. So I'm actually going to give my last soda to a school district in Indiana. And the reason I'm giving it to the school district, I think it's called Elkhart Schools, is because they're partnering with a local nonprofit called Cultivate to provide weekend meals for the children in the schools through the use of unused foods. So basically what this company Cultivate does is they work with caterers but also with schools because there's a lot of leftover food every day at the cafeteria. So they take it, they package it up. I think it's like they give them like 8 meals, they freeze them and they give it to them in a backpack so that these underserved, undernourished, underprivileged children can have meals for the entirety of the weekend.
Oh, okay.
So
it's sad because like data shows that a lot of kids, especially in like poorer neighborhoods, their school lunch is the only meal they have.
Yeah, they get
they get
breakfast and lunch at school, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And so this way they're giving something back, and again we throw away so much food in this country.
We really do.
I feel
so guilty. I feel so guilty when I throw away
food that there's nothing wrong with.
Yeah.
Like I'm that guy who I don't care. There are times where we go to a restaurant and it'll be like, quedan nada más que like 4 papitas. And I'm like, you know what? Box it up. I'll take it home. It'll be a snack in 2 hours. I don't care. I'm not throwing it away. So that's my last soda.
Well, that's very nice. I know that a lot of restaurants and places, because of different laws and whatever,
for health code reasons,
they
lot of them
can't give away food. But I do know that somehow Panera goes around that. Because Panera, their actual bread, if you're late enough at a Panera, like near closing time, you will always see somebody come from whatever type of rescue mission or whatever, which they will give them the unsold bread.
Yeah, I know that's an issue because my friend Rick, who works for the BRC, the homeless organization in New York, I remember asking him that question. He's like, the problem is, because again, working at an agency, there's so many times where companies will come and do a lunch y sobra tanta comida that I'm like, Rick, can you like have somebody come and pick it up? And they're like, it's because, and maybe New York is different than Florida, I don't know, whatever, but it's because of health code violations, because the food has been sitting out, because it's prepared. You know what I mean? It hasn't met certain requirements. They can't give it because si le cae mal, things like that. There's a liability risk involved too.
Sounds to me like that's something that could be changed.
I'm sure it could be, but I think that's why maybe again, this organization seems to be getting around it by like, okay, we'll take it and freeze it, like right away so that it's viable. I don't know.
So my last soda of the day goes to Pete Buttigieg. Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete está acabando.
You gave me tremendo revelation on Mayor Pete.
Yeah. I don't think Mayor Pete is going to win. I don't think he's going to get the nomination. But just the fact that he has gone as far as he has as an openly gay man, and he is actually kind of the front runner right now as an openly gay man, who is married.
Right.
Because a lot of people
it's not
say
theoretical.
A lot of people are like, oh well, a lot of people can overlook the fact that he's gay, but he's married. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, right, and if it's like a double-edged sword, because then if he wasn't married, there are people that'd be like, oh, he's not married, so is he gonna be bringing in men to the White House?
Right.
Like,
it's like it's the White House, not the bathhouse.
Right. You said it, not me. But the fact that he, as an openly gay man, has come so far, I think that is really telling of progress in our country, and I think it's wonderful. I've said this, and it's gonna be recorded now.
On the record.
If he is the nominee, which I hope he is, because aside from that, I mean, obviously, actually, no. I don't like him because he's an openly gay man. I like him because I think that he's
moderate.
He's pretty moderate on most things.
I mean,
he's pretty moderate
within that field that they're in
and
right
he's
now.
very rational and very sensible, and most importantly, he served our country.
That's right,
which is
baby.
a lot that a lot of people, President Bone Spurs, can't say, right? Because what I want to see, now that we live in this age of like dirty politics of people insulting each other, that man, again, served his country, went to Afghanistan as a soldier. He went to Harvard. He's a Rhodes Scholar.
He knows how many languages?
Yeah, he speaks like 4 or 5 languages. Yeah. Okay.
Fluently.
I want to know they could attack certain things in terms of his, time as mayor of
his record
for in Indiana. There were some issues there with like race relations and stuff like that. So those are records that you could attack. But on a personal level, what are you going to attack him for? Because
there's only one thing I can think of.
If they go down that, there's a part of me, I know this is going to sound really petty, that kind of wants them to attack him on that, because then it's going to be such a blatant, disgusting view of who they really are. That you are attacking this man despite the fact that he's a soldier, that he defended our country
more so than most
that
people.
He's so intelligent and a scholar. You're attacking this man on his sexuality.
That says more about you
and
than
especially anything. That he hasn't made this like, it's not like he's running on this like totally liberal gay agenda.
Yeah, he's
not
like,
what I mean?
And he's not AOCing it.
Right. He's, again, very moderate. So it'd just be interesting to see what the other side does with this. I don't think if he is a nominee, I don't think Trump would attack his sexuality. In fact, Trump the other day said that he would vote for a gay candidate. Right. I don't think Trump would per se attack his sexuality, but I do think his base would, and I think that he won't stop it.
That's the key. It's not what he says, it's what will he say to the right.
Because to me, I mean, if you get endorsed by the Ku Klux Klan and you don't step away from that endorsement and call it out, you might as well be endorsed.
Yeah, you might as well accept it.
Right. Might as well be like, okay,
sure,
come over and bring your white hood while you're at it. You know what I mean? So it would just be interesting to see. And again, there's a part of me that it's like, you know what, maybe, and I mean, I'm talking here about like the real like crazy right. Crazy. Yeah. To me, it's kind of like, you know what? Show us your true colors of just how intolerant, and how petty you are that you would attack this man on a sexuality. But anyway, my last quote goes to him. I wish him.
He made a real showing in New Hampshire.
He won the Iowa caucus despite the debacle, and in New Hampshire, technically Bernie won New Hampshire, but he has more delegates right now.
Well, but that's what I mean. Like he
came out like a very close second.
Yeah. It wasn't like he was a distant second.
Yeah, and like Biden and Warren, like their campaigns, I don't know what happened. They like blew up. You know who I'm not voting for? El Comunista. And we know who that is.
Yes, we do.
So he went to vacation at the Soviet Union. Anyway, bueno, everybody. That was episode 97.
Yes.
Shit, we are so close to 100.
It's around the corner.
That was episode 97. We hope you listened, laughed, and learned. Listened, laughed, and learned. I feel this was like a really like kind of like all over.
It was a free form, flowy, like.
But that's kind of I think that when you and I are best.
Yeah. That's what people love about us.
So grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your jupiña, and thank you so much for joining us. Happy Friday, happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, go out and just show love and kindness. It's Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
and do it every day too. Why not?
Do it every day too. So have a great weekend. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. That was episode 97. Bye.
Con mucho, mucho amor. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.